I had an ex-fiance, and at the time, his mother got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she was told that maybe she had a year left to live. She ended up having 3 months. I'd never seen anybody with cancer before, and I wasn't a nurse then. It was really painful to see her go through it, but it was also profound because she did it with such dignity and such grace. I was just touched by how she handled it because she didn't show, she's just kept this positive. She was always happy to see us, and she didn't have this woe is me attitude. So the way she handled it was just incredible. And then towards the end, it was a quick decline. And I just remember being there, and she would call to help, and she couldn't get to the bathroom on her own, and then she couldn't even pull her underwear down. And I remember that was such a pivotal moment for me. She is just deteriorating each and every day, and it just became really real because it doesn't feel real. And then on the last day, I remember, before she passed, she sat up, we both went to the gym. She said she loved us and she would see us later. And she actually passed not too long after we left. That also makes me think in my mind that in some way, if we have the ability to hold on, that we can have the ability to let go as well. Her name was Penny.
Have you ever talked about these before?
Just briefly, I think we do have such a stigma around death, but I don't think we do talk about it enough. And I think we do hold it in, or we grieve in private. I don't think we talk about it as much as we should. And I think it should be more of a dialogue that we should have with each other.
How was that when you were diagnosed?
It was a pivotal point in my life. It was almost a blessing that I was in the nursing field, that I was in the healthcare, because when you're getting a diagnosis like cancer, that's the worst word you could hear is cancer. But I almost felt I had a step ahead because I had the knowledge so that I could facilitate the way that my care should be handled and what the expectation was with my cancer. And when I got diagnosed with terminal breast cancer, and typically the treatment is oral medication, IV chemotherapy in the research shows that it has potential for more life longevity. So we pushed for that, and I did receive IV chemotherapy. It was in the hospital a lot. I lost my hair, but I was going to fight for my life under any circumstance because my daughter was 3 years old. And I feel like I would have done anything to stay alive, whatever that meant. And I was sick and in pain. And probably the worst thing I've ever been through is IV chemotherapy.
How did
Mm.
you process it?
It was very difficult. I just didn't know what I was going to do. I thought to myself, I went on Google and it said I have 3 years to live. And I thought, how can I have 3 years to live? I have a 3-year-old. And I really felt betrayed. And if you're talking in terms of your God, you're thinking, why would God want to take me away from my daughter? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. But I think all those things don't matter. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm a nurse. I should have caught it myself. I missed it. I would blame myself for my cancer. And I would go down all these rabbit holes of depression and blame and bargaining, all those things you do with grief. After time, I think you start to get your bearings and you start to be okay. I can't change what's going on, but what I can do is just fight really hard and do the best that I can to show that my daughter that I did everything that I could to be here as long as possible. I had to start thinking like that. I had to tell myself, whatever it is that I need to do, then I need to do that. And I went down a holistic and a spiritual path. And I did feel a closer connection spiritually. If you do pray and you have a positive mindset and you believe in things and your mind believes in things, and there's research that backs this up, that your brain will feel it's true. And I think that was how I dealt with it, and a lot of support. I felt really blessed to have that as well. It's been 4 years. I'm at Dana-Farber, and it's been 3 years so far. I've been no evidence of disease. So I've been doing really well, thankfully, and I feel good. Always trying to figure out what works and help women that are in my shoes to be more proactive and to put your health first. We tend to neglect our own selves as women. My long-term goal is, if I'm alive, is to petition to have mammograms moved up to 35 years old. If life gives something negative, you try to do your best to try to turn it into something positive, because what else can you do? If you're given a situation, you can dwell on it or you can find ways to make it better.
Did it bring change in your outlook in life?
Yeah, I did. You have to change when something happens to you like this. If you don't change, I would be surprised. I think the biggest change for me personally is appreciate just small things now. Sitting out and listening to just the birds, or enjoying a walk, but like with enjoying the quiet and the stillness, being in your bed and knowing that you have a warm, comfortable place to be, that you're eating food and you get to savor more of the food. And it's just all these things that I think before I was diagnosed with cancer, I was actually very more closed minded and more judgmental of others. And I needed to step back, and this was almost like a slap in the face. Now I don't feel like I do that, but I think now I have a different perspective of all kinds of people and people that are going through things of hardship and illness. As humans, I think the most important thing with any of our limited time is just being our authentic selves and choosing happiness, whatever that means for you. When this could be all be taken away, and just enjoy the small moments. And I think that another takeaway too is when you feel like life is limited, you could almost say it's a gift in a way, because I get to understand that I may have limited time, and I was told I was having limited time by a terminal diagnosis. So I get to choose how I want to spend and enjoy my life, knowing that I don't know how much of this I'll get to enjoy for how long. It just makes it even more special to embrace. And I think that life rushes us so much that we forget. And by the time that, for if anything happens, we don't get to say all the things or show people how much we love and care for them. So when I'm around my friends or my family, I really cherish those moments. We all go through grief, and grief is part of love. And I feel like you feel it when you love, and it's part of life. And just like death is, it's part of our lives. We're all going to be gone one day, but we might as well just enjoy what we have left, because this is what we have left and we just don't know. So just
Yeah.
enjoy it and live happy. Be happy. That's the biggest thing.